No. Hey everybody, welcome to the Deluise Book Series channel. I'm Christina Kristina. Oh, come on. Alright, goodbye. So, today we're talking about Murder Most Howl by Krista Davis. Really good, really flowing, really smooth read, really quick read, enjoyable read. Really good. And while I take this time, please take the time to like and subscribe to the channel. It means a whole bunch that you like me. I'm just a simple person reading books and talking about books. That's it. I have no inserts. I have no computer skills. I can't flash in something here or flash in something there, or go, hey, hit the subscribe button and have the red it's not me. I'm just a simple person who reads books and likes to talk about books. So please, please show your support by liking me. Please like my channel. Please. Please. So we're going to talk about Murder Most Foul. Holly Miller is delighted her grandmother has finally left the Sugar Maple Inn to take a well-deserved vacation. It means Holly's in charge, but running the inn might be more challenging than she ever realized. Wagtag's throwing a week-long murder mystery game to draw in tourists during the slow season. The inn has a house full, and a blizzard is on the way. It always snows in West Virginia. Always. Not my neighborhood. No. West Virginia? Yeah. No. Okay. So, you like when it snows and it gets all quiet outside and everything's all white and clean? There's no dirt, there's no mud. Everything's so pretty. I looked up at the silvery gray sky, even though it was 10 in the morning, and other people walked dogs. There was a silence in the air, a peaceful stillness that meant snow was on the way. So peaceful, so quiet. She's going to sit right out of camera range the whole time. So, we have a murder mystery. And I like that she has the guest list in front. There's the guest list. So that you know who the guests are. She keeps rocking the camera. Alright, so the murder weapons are a poison bottle, a candlestick, a hand-carved gun, and a meat cleaver. Alright, so these are the murder weapons Val Kowalchuk reached into the chestnut leather tote she had brought with her and pulled out a pearl-handled pistol. The new owner of the popular Wagtail pub, Hair of Dog, Val was brimming with clever ideas to bring tourists to Wagtail, our pet-themed town nestled in the mountains of Western Virginia. Enthusiastic and hard-working, she was quickly becoming a good friend. We were on our way to Cafe Chat for brunch to finalize some details about Murder Most Howl, Wagtail's murder mystery weekend. So, let's just explain that all these people are going to come to the town. This would be cool. This would be so cool. Have you been to those murder mystery dinner theaters where the whole audience participates in the murder mystery? This has the entire town participating in the murder mystery. And I'm trying to comprehend how they did this in the middle of a blizzard. But then again, they're used to the snow. Val placed a gorgeous bottle on the table about 4 inches high. It had been painted metallic green that made it look like glass. On one side it bore a skull and crossbones painted in silver on the red background. Murder Most Howl is a cross between a scavenger hunt and a murder mystery game. The participants all play themselves, but each of them have a secret from his or her past that ties them to the victim. For instance, there's a participant named Robin Jarvis. When she receives her secret at the initial meeting at Hair of the Dog, Robin will find out that she's the sister of the victim's second wife and that she came here to avenge her sister's death. She doesn't have to wear a costume or be anyone but herself, get it? She doesn't have to pretend she's a millionaire or a movie star. It's up to each player to decide whether to share the secret with anyone. The goal is to solve the mystery of who killed the victim. They have to figure out who the murder killer is, the motive, and how she or she murdered the victim. Okay. And oh, so they all get clues. They all get clues. In little envelopes, envelopes, and they're hidden all over town. The first clue is the friendly cow, all red and white. I love with all my heart. She gives me cream with all her might to eat with apple tart. So the first clue, I think, is on a make believe barn cow or out by the barn shed. So anyway, another clue: chop, chop, choppity chop. Cut off the bottoms, cut off the top. What's left over we'll put in the pot. Chop, choppity chop. That's the meat cleaver clue. So they have to find all the murder weapons and then confront the other players with the murder weapons. And if they show their fake murder weapon, then the player has to tell them what clues they have discovered. And I had one more. I froze at her words. Myrtle, the local police are working on Norm's murder. I don't think it's wise to interfere. Myrtle drew her head back and stared at me as though I was being outrageously insulting. My, says the woman who hired a criminal to go into people's room and steal from them. If the local police are anything like you, you'll never solve the case. A killer wouldn't have a thing to worry about here. Her words stung, but I had to keep my cool. I'm pleased to assure you that the local policeman is very competent. And in the end, we will find out who has been stealing all these objects that causes a lot of hate and discontent and a lot of unnecessary mischief, but it's another plot point. There's several different plot points going on here. And at one point, because Valerie wrote all the clues, sometimes the fingers kind of pointed at her, and that kind of bothered me because she's supposed to be her best friend. But it turns out that there's all these little secrets that Val, some of them she made up and some of them she knew. They turned out to be true as the clues. There's over 100 clues, and they're all over town. And then at the end, they have to reveal themselves to Valerie. So that's the page I forgot. Um, When everyone was seated and Val began to speak, one bag remained and one name was missing a check mark: Robin Jarvis. I rose and stretched, noting that many of the local townspeople and merchants were in attendance. After welcoming everyone, Val went over the basic rules. Don't forget to visit the stores. There's a list of participating merchants in your bags. In a small place like Wagtail, rumors fly around town. So don't be afraid to chat with them and ask questions. They might know the one thing that will help you put it all together. The first person or team to figure out who the killer is, his or her motive, and how he or she committed the murder wins. The first one to figure it out and tell me will be the winner. But don't worry, we'll have other prizes too to win, though you must tell me. While Val explained about the clues, I helped myself to a mug of hot chocolate. I cupped it in my hands and took a sip, thinking things were going fairly well and that Zelda had been wrong, when a loud thunk was followed by instantly by darkness. The fireplace still blazed in the dining area, and the dogwood room casting long shadows. Everyone seemed a little sinister in the dim room. The sound alarmed the dogs, who jumped up to their feet. Trixie took it calmly, but Ginger Snap, usually the calm one, shot straight to me and jammed her head between my knees, her entire body trembling. I ran my hands over her shoulders, murmuring soft reassurances. I couldn't help thinking of Mr. Huckle's sound advice. With Ginger Snap glued to my side every step of the way, I grabbed a butane lighter from the kitchen and walked around calmly, carefully stepping over dogs, cats, and assorted bags and purses, lighting the candles I set out earlier. Most people took it in stride, and I heard a few jokes that questioned whether it had been staged for their benefit. But when I passed Blanche, I noticed that she clutched her husband's hand as though she was frightened. Her Saluki didn't seem to care. Wedgie's poodle had jumped in her lap, but little Ella May dodged around the room, sniffing everything as though nothing had happened. Val handled it like a pro, so smoothly that thought the power outage was intentional if I hadn't known better. She positioned a large candle with 3 wicks so it lighted her face from below, giving her a frighteningly evil appearance. "Someone will be murdered tonight," she intoned. "Each of you has known this person in some way. Your connection to him is in the packet you received tonight. Some of you were in love, some of you hated him, and some probably loved and hated our victim. Whether you share your secret connection to the victim is up to you." I had to admit that the candles on the fireplace mantel and tables around the room added a certain ambience that wouldn't have existed with electric lights. It hadn't ruined the evening after all. On the contrary, it was charming and a little bit eerie, perfect for a murder event. Val continued, "These weapons are hidden in Wagtail. You have clues to help you find them. The weapon may be used to obtain information and clues from other players. If you are approached by a player with a weapon, you are obliged to share your clues and your connection to the victim. As you can see, the weapons are very powerful." I lighted a candle on the side table next to an elderly man who I hadn't noticed before, and horrified shriek escaped me. The old man slumped in his chair, one arm hanging limply over the side. His head sagged forward, his eyes closed. The white hair glowed in the candlelight. A bushy mustache covered his upper lip. He wore a black turtleneck sweater. I felt completely foolish. My scream had drawn everyone's attention and agitated the dogs. Ginger Snap, who had snuck close to me, barked once and sniffed him from a safe distance. Trixie raced to my aid, and I noticed Twinkletoes prowling close to the man's feet with great caution. He had probably fallen asleep. I grabbed the candle next to him and held it near his chest for a closer look. The flame flickered, throwing distorted shadows on him. I stretched my other hand towards his shoulder to give him a little shake. A gust of air blew out the candle at the exact moment that he grabbed my wrist. This time I screamed like the dead and came to life and jerked my hand away. All the dogs bounded towards me. One of them howled, long and mournful, probably the Bassenham. But the man didn't give up. He didn't even lift his head. I peered at him, reluctant to try to touch him again. I nudged his shoe with my foot. No reaction, but in the dim light I could see Ginger Snap and Trixie wagging their tails. Someone behind me chuckled. I turned to Goff. He uttered dryly, "Mr. Body, I presume." So, if you want to know what happens, if you want to know the whodunit, because there's a couple of twisties. It goes, Mr. Shadows, Shadow, Shadow, Shadow. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's Val. And then, well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's this person. Maybe it's Blanche. Maybe it's this person. Maybe it's that person. So check it out. Murder Most Howl by Krista Davis. And please like my channel. Please. And I shall continue reading and should continue giving you reports on my books as often as I can. And maybe I can get a kitty or two to join me. We shall see. But thank you, and please like and subscribe.